I'm here to talk about a few wins that we were able to accomplish as a legislative caucus. And first and foremost, it's my honor to serve as our Senate Democratic Caucus Chair among an esteemed group of legislators who are standing here today and some who had to go home to their families. Despite us being in the minority, I will say we are a huge group of individuals who are passionate about our communities and fought very hard this year in order to stop bad legislation, but also put forth good legislation that improves the lives of working and middle-class families in this state. I will stand here to say that we experienced a major accomplishment, not just from Memphis, but what I will say the whole state of Tennessee, by the MCS takeover bill being stalled. This legislation would create an additional advisory committee that is unelected by the people, appointed by members of this legislature to oversee the governance of the local body in Shelby County. Now, people work hard in Memphis to elect people to represent their school district, and while things are not perfect, there's improvements that can always happen in our local school districts and around this state to advance the educational outcomes of our children. Overstepping and overdoing the leadership of our duly elected officials is not the precedence that we want to set as a legislative body. We may not always agree with what happens with our local school boards, our local government entities, but in efforts to give local governments their autonomy to lead the way they're supposed to lead, this bill would have jeopardized that, and it's been placed on the desk because our two chambers couldn't agree. Well, I say we couldn't agree because it was not the right move for Memphis. And so I'm thankful that my colleagues were not able to agree so we can stall this bill out, and Shelby County Schools will be able to maintain its autonomy and be able to work within ourselves, continue to advance the educational outcomes for our children. In addition to that, we did receive major wins around stopping the bill around undocumented children being denied an adequate and free public education, which is guaranteed in our Constitution. One of the most egregious bills to ever come through this legislature, tore us apart. In addition, we were able to support in bipartisan efforts to reduce Glock switches and other devices that enhance machine guns in our streets. It is not a Democrat or Republican issue to be for or against guns. It's about what's being safe and secure for our communities. And we were able to come together to pass legislation to make our communities safer from gun violence. In addition, many of our legislators advanced legislation centered around maternal health, giving mothers in this state additional resources and education around creating a healthy, happy family for themselves and their babies. And so while there is a lot of doom and gloom and extremism that came out of this legislative session, don't fret that our colleagues in the minority were able to accomplish great things. And we made sure that our first priority this legislative session was putting working and middle-class families first to make sure they can feed themselves, provide adequate health care for their families, and continue to advocate for good, well-paying jobs. Thank you.